This is Afghanistan, a land that has been vilified and demonized for decades on end.
On my orders, the United States military has begun strikes in Afghanistan.
A country ravaged by almost half a century of war, subjected to one of the most relentless media campaigns of modern times, labelled as one of the most dangerous places on earth.
There's no future for these people in that hell.
And yet, I'm here to find out what lies beyond the headlines.
Let's go.
To discover the reality of one of the most misunderstood and misrepresented peoples in the world, and understand their faith, their strength, and the spirit that continues to carry them forward. And as Afghanistan stands on the edge of a new beginning, I'll be journeying inside to find the truth for myself. This is our 3-part journey into the heart of Afghanistan.
We set out to capture the story of Afghanistan, a Muslim nation that's endured decades of conflict and disaster, and sadly, one that's not alone. Across our ummah, nations are facing loss and a fight for survival, but you can be a part of changing this. Through Human Appeal Australia, your donation becomes real relief on the ground, feeding hungry children, sheltering displaced families, and delivering urgent aid where it's most needed. And with your support, they can continue. Donate now and help bring relief to those who need it most. Enjoy the video.
Afghanistan.
Why am I here? Well, it all started here. I was a little kid growing up in Sydney, Australia, and this
I
happened.
believe a commercial jet has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
Up until this point, I had no idea the country even existed. But now, it was on the lips of everyone. From presidents,
Taliban regime in Afghanistan.
to movies, to the front pages of newspapers, I couldn't escape it.
Afghanistan.
Never mind the fact I couldn't even find it on a map. I knew enough to know it was bad. Very bad. Like, really, really bad. Until today, where I finally had the opportunity to go and see it for myself. Flying in from the sky, I was already taken aback by its profound beauty. Geographically, Afghanistan is a country that's dominated by rugged, mountainous terrain, and it sits at the crossroads of Central and South Asia. Today, our journey begins here, in Kabul, the capital. And by the way, I shouldn't be here. See, Afghanistan is considered one of the most dangerous countries in the world. Australia strongly warns people from travelling here. The country's heavily sanctioned, diplomatically isolated, and on top of all that, I don't speak any of its languages. Dari, Pashto, nothing. So I needed help. That's where I found this guy, Yusuf, a popular Afghan content creator with perfect English and a really strange nickname.
Yusuf, the world knows you as someone called Poco Loco.
Poco Loco, yeah. Most people do know me by Poco Loco.
What does that even mean?
Poco means little, Loco means crazy.
Yeah,
So
little
that's
crazy guy
little
from
crazy.
Afghanistan.
Look, I'm not sure he really was going to keep me safe, but he was all I had. Living up to his name, Yusuf's content is often a little crazy,
On my way
edgy,
to America, and I'm stuck.
and at times pretty controversial, shall I say.
Look, I'm not gonna lie, I saw your content. I actually believed it for a second.
Donald Trump, Assalamu alaikum.
I legitimately felt like Taliban from America is making some pretty funny content.
In 14 hours, inshallah, we will be there.
I believed it, I bought it, but what's the truth?
The truth, I mean, I got an iPhone, I speak English, I'm here in Afghanistan, so I'm trying to invite the world, bro. People in America think I'm involved in the government here. The people here think I'm involved in the government of America. I'm stuck in the middle, bro.
I've seen you as the bridge between the East and West.
There you go. Yes, I'm trying to, my brother. Do what I
And you
can.
used humor to build that bridge.
Yo, boycotting is cute. Piracy, my friend, is the way. Welcome to Starback.
But behind the laughs, I was certain there was something deeper.
Behind the memes, behind the reels. What's inside your heart that keeps you going to push the content out there? The why.
The why. I think I'd be happy to show you this coming week, inshallah. I want to show you the why. I can't spell it out for you, to be honest.
So you're going to show me how? You're going to show me the truth of Afghanistan.
I'll do my best, my brother.
Where do we start?
First and foremost, this way. I mean, are you comfortable like this, bro?
I'm fine.
Okay. I would be more comfortable if you looked more like me, my bro.
All right.
If that's all right.
Let's do it.
Bismillah, my bro.
And just like that, I was on my way to get fitted out like a local.
You get something flashy if you want. I mean, you're gonna be on camera, bro. If you want something flashy.
All right, yeah, let's go.
And these guys were not playing when it came to their fits. The sizing, the fabrics, the colors, every detail mattered. Not gonna lie, I was enjoying the process. The waistcoat, or wasqat as they call it, was really cool. But of course, no Afghan outfit was complete without the headpiece.
Yeah, dark.
These hats were flashy, bold, ornamental, and a little extra.
This is completely out of my comfort zone. Not something I would generally wear, but when you're in
yes.
Afghanistan,
And it didn't take long until I found one that kind of worked.
bit of brown
Sweetheart, no
hearts.
way.
Wait, the actual hearts.
Well, there's an Arab meme where it's like, we are not Allahu Akbar, but we are sweet. One more time, put it back on. This one.
Jamil?
Nice. Wow.
Khalas, the Sheikh said Jamil. Khalas, we have a winner.
Wow, Basa, thank you.
Like my head's a mihrab.
There you go, mashallah.
And yeah, by the way, that fancy cut down the middle is meant to look like a Muslim prayer section, according to the shopkeeper. And since I was here, I needed to ask him more important questions.
كثير من الناس لديهم فكرة سيئة عن شعب أفغانستان.
نعم.
كيف ترد على ذلك؟
نقول لشخص هذه الشهادة فيه سكر
نعم.
وما يتقبل. نحن نقول اشرب حتى تذيقه هو فيه سكر أم لا. نحن ندعو من الناس يأتي في أفغانستان كي نرى بعملهم الناس أفغانستان كيف هم.
وأنت تدعو الناس جميعا أن يأتوا إلى أفغانستان.
نعم. ليس الفرق بين الشرق والغرب.
ولو كان أمريكي أسترالي.
ندعو كلهم.
الله الله.
لا نريد منهم جزاء ولا شكورا.
Allah. We don't want a reward. We don't even want thanks. Just come to Afghanistan, check it out for yourself, enjoy the tea.
It was a beautiful analogy and was exactly why I was here. But there was one problem. Up until now, we had been filming quietly, without any permission, and this was pretty much not recommended here for obvious reasons. And if I wanted to do this properly, I needed approval from the big guys. Now, on the surface, this seemed incredibly daunting with a lot of red tape, paperwork, and meeting with people in authority, like this man, who runs one of Afghanistan's largest TV networks. But by the time the approval came through, I was left quite surprised.
One of the most beautiful things that I realized in our pursuit of getting this filming permit was the people inside were so happy when they found out we were coming here to capture this story, to capture a documentary, and to really show the people of Afghanistan for once in a positive light.
نحن أيضا سررنا بلقائكم ونقول لكم مرحبا في أفغانستان. هذا بلدكم.
And it didn't stop there.
While we were inside waiting for the stamp to finally come through, we had probably one of the most beautiful encounters with an old soldier who opened for us like an entire picnic rug full of pomegranates, the sweetest pomegranates I've probably ever had in my life, while he would entertain us with beautiful stories that he experienced in the past. It was honestly a wholesome, heartwarming experience and the best pomegranates I've ever had.
It was a warm welcome, but it also came with a great degree of trust.
نقول لأصحاب الإعلام تعالوا إلى أفغانستان وانشروا الحقائق، لا تنشروا الأخبار المزيفة، بل قولوا التي هو الحقيقة.
So with our media permit in hand and an enormous responsibility on our shoulders, we were ready to roll through the back streets of Kabul. First stop, this place.
So now instead of going on the main road, we're going over this mountain, right?
All right, let's go.
Which kind of looks strangely familiar to San Francisco, only unmistakably Afghan.
So Lombard Street in San Francisco is built just like
But before we could begin exploring, I needed some ground rules.
What do I, as an outsider, need to know about Afghanistan culture?
I think modesty comes first and foremost.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, that comes the way you walk, the way you dress,
Yeah.
the way you talk. Right.
Especially with women, I realized that when a woman would walk past in Kabul, she would like cover her face, just out of respect.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Whatever it may be, especially with cameras, right? And these cameras, they definitely don't want to be there.
Yeah. Afghan women is a huge topic, I know, and I will get there, I promise, just not now. But the truth is, Afghans are conservative by their nature. Don't take my word for it, take his.
We want it where the women over there don't have to wear the you-know-what. They want to! What the hell are we getting involved for?
Anyway, faces covered or not, I still couldn't help but notice one thing. I'm seeing like so many diverse faces. I'm seeing like brown faces, white faces, Asian looking faces. I can't pinpoint like the one look of an Afghan person. Why is that the case?
I mean, it's a historic, ancient country. The Silk Road went through here, so all the people from Asia all the way to Europe passed through here, let alone the invasions of Alexander the Great or Genghis Khan. And then, of course, more recently, the borders we have with Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Iran, Pakistan. We have a border with China, right? So all of this mixing is happening. So of course the facial features are going to be different, right?
Their faces were incredibly diverse, but they all radiated the same warmth. That's why this didn't stop happening. He saw tourists walking through Afghanistan and he couldn't help himself but say, come to my house, have some tea. And that's not the first time that's happened here in Afghanistan. Invitations to tea everywhere. It was time to keep moving. So after hours of bumper-to-bumper traffic filled with bright blue taxis and the occasional tell-off from the police, we reached the centre of Kabul to visit the marketplace. This bazaar was buzzing with colours, craftsmanship, and so many people selling all kinds of things. Herbs, spices, and birds. Lots of wild birds. We soon entered Kabul's oldest bird market, believed to be over 130 years old, and wandering through its narrow alleys literally felt like stepping back in time. Afghan people love their birds. These guys had canaries, budgies, pigeons, parrots, and then there was this guy.
Alhamdulillah, khair yasiru.
What you do? My name is Ubaidullah. I'm a shopkeeper of this place, okay?
And you sell birds?
Yes. Eagle.
Eagles. Oh, you've got some eagles inside there. Okay, he's taking us to his secret shop at the back. Let's check it out. MashaAllah.
This is the best and famous eagle from Afghanistan, golden eagle.
The golden eagle, one of the most revered birds in Afghanistan. Tabarakallah. Sorry, America, a new bird in town. It was incredible. But beyond the exotic eagles, owls, and very dangerous snakes, there was something deeper, carried by the shopkeepers who've worked here for generations. So you've been working through this market, through the wars, through the devastation, you've always been here working.
دمی جنگا ما دمی کابل بودیم.
دمی کافروشی بود.
دمی کافروشی بودیم سر. از بالا راکت میامد ما دم غریبی خود بودیم سر.
همینجا بودیم.
بله سر. ما مرخوروشی میکردیم سر. راکت هم اگه میامد هرچی با خاطر نفقه دمی کابل غریبی میکردیم.
For decades, they endured war after war with remarkable resilience. Yet today, they're incredibly hopeful. Has he found that there's been a lot of peace in the last few years?
Yeah, he said, yeah, peace. Peace. Through and through.
گفتنی ما نمیز بیادر سر تا سر افغانستان آرامی صلح آرامی بیادری و بیادر همون چیز دیگه نیست.
Same
صلح آرامی.
صلح آرامی. But he just wants peace. Peace. It's poverty. It's tough, but I want peace.
Oh wow.
Just the bird market has been through like 5 wars. Right, just this bird, let alone the actual market.
Wow. This antique market stands as a powerful testament to Afghanistan's past. Yet today, it provides hope for the country's future. Today is Friday, and Yusuf and I are on our way to the Jumu'ah Friday prayer. day of Friday, the busy streets of Kabul, on the way to one of the most popular masjids in Kabul for Salat al-Jumu'ah. Dripped out in white, tabarakallah, wearing the sunnah. So this masjid is called?
This
is the Abdul Rahman Mosque, one of Kabul's largest mosques, capable of holding tens of thousands of worshippers. Friday prayer can get very busy, so we're here early. Islam is front and center of Afghan identity, with 99% of the country being Muslim. For a religion that's often blamed for Afghanistan's negative image, it was one of the most peaceful experiences I've had praying here. Understanding the reality of Islam in Afghanistan was going to be crucial for my journey, so after the prayer, I tried to meet with the Imam, unannounced, to get his insight. Now, although I didn't have any prior contact with him, when I saw everyone line up to greet him, I took my chances. SubhanAllah, it was so beautiful to witness the Imam after he finished the sermon. He took his time out to give salam to literally everyone that lined up just to give him salam and greet him, and he gave them all his time, his presence, mashallah. It was very beautiful to see. And then, something unexpected happened. As soon as I greeted him in the Arabic language, given that's the language of Islam, the language that unites us all together, he was so happy to hear an Arabic voice, alhamdulillah, and he invited us to eat lunch with him, mashallah. So beautiful. Who would have thought the most spontaneous invitation to lunch with one of Afghanistan's most senior imams? Literally, the Imam has never met us before, but just by virtue of being an outsider from Australia, he sat us at the front, right next to him, subhanAllah. This is like an incredible honor he's shown to us, subhanAllah. He doesn't even know who we are, subhanAllah. I later learned the meal had been prepared by the Imam himself. It's hard to believe these were the faces they told us to be afraid of growing up. And yet here I was, drinking tea with them on a random Friday in Kabul. I had to ask him what made him so welcoming.
الشيء الأساسي بيننا وبينكم هو أخوة الإسلام. العلاقة الأولى هو علاقة الإسلام. المسلم أخو المسلم ما شاء الله. فنحن بيننا وبينكم هو الإسلام إيمان. والشيء الثاني والله نحن نحب العرب قلبا، والله نفرح برؤيتهم، وليس هذا فقط يعني ما في قلبي، بل كل أحد من مواطنينا في أفغانستان كل أحد يحب هذا ما شاء الله. يحب المسلمين عامة والعرب خاصة لمقام النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم خاصة وللقرآن وللإسلام.
Arabic was no doubt a key to connecting in the Muslim world, but I wanted to know what was his secret to communicating in a world shaped by propaganda and tension.
الله تعالى يقيدنا في دعوتنا إلى الله تعالى بالحكمة ليس بالغلظة، بل أمر نبيه صلى الله عليه وسلم وقال له ولو كنت فظا غليظ القلب لانفضوا من حولك. فاللازم على الداعي على العالم على المبلغ أن يدعو الناس باللطف والطلاقة، أن يقدم أمامهم الدين الذي أنزل الله تعالى، الدين الذي علمنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
His answers were a far cry from the negative stereotypes that had plagued the nation, but by no means was this to be mistaken for weakness. I'll explain later. Amidst the bustling traffic in Kabul, it's so inspiring to see the love the people of Afghanistan have for Palestine, a fellow nation which is enduring an occupation
which will soon end, inshallah, just like the occupation of this land ended.
Understanding the history of occupation in Afghanistan was key to understanding the true face of its people. In fact, much of the fear levelled against Afghanistan was directly tied to justify the occupation. So we have to talk about it. And this is where it gets a little controversial, so bear with me. Government, security, and the Prime Minister of Australia. I just needed to talk to the Taliban, including him, the spokesperson for the Foreign Ministry, to be exact.
There is no doubt in the fact that Afghanistan has been a victim of both physical occupation and also an ideological war. The narratives have continued till this day, so it's not a surprise that Afghanistan is being targeted the way it has been through the last nearly 50 years now, half a century.
For almost 50 years, Afghanistan has been invaded by forces that have tried and failed to occupy its land. That's why it's known as this.
They call Afghanistan the graveyard of empires. First, there was the British, who came 3 times. Then, there were the Soviets, on which we're standing upon one of their tanks. And then came the Americans. But today, Afghanistan is a free nation.
Renowned as the graveyard of empires from across the world.
Another grave for a tank from the Red Army, the Soviet Union, which has now been decorated like a ladybug. They've turned it into a playground over here.
Yeah, I mean, foreigners call it a graveyard, but the locals call this a playground.
A playground.
There you go.
It was a stunning symbol of the underlying strength of the Afghan people.
تعلمنا آباؤنا وأجدادنا شيء واحد: لا تتركوا المحارب في بلادكم. نحن نحترم القوانين، ولكن الذي يأتي علينا يقابلنا يحاربنا. نحن لا نترك أحدا في المحاربة، نحاربه حتى لا تكون فتنة، حتى لا تكون كفر. هذا هو السر.
They came, they saw, and they got defeated.
All occupations ultimately failed in their pursuit, but it wasn't without a trail of destruction left behind. Yusuf later took me to the outskirts of Kabul to witness the scars firsthand.
You gotta go and stop. It's like speed bumps in the West, right? But the landmines are like what? The explosives that may have been left over from the war? Because again, the cars that would go over these roads were Humvees and tanks, and they would travel in big, long units. So the bombs that they used were planted so that they can, blast through these vehicles and even blast these vehicles into the air.
Scars from explosions still line the roads.
So we just passed through a place called Martyrs Village.
Correct, Martyrs Village, Shahidan Kale. So these are flags for the martyrs, right?
Yeah.
These are clearly worn and torn. They've been here for years now. I'm supposing they didn't have a specific gravesite, so they just put these flags to recall.
This definitely would have been a place where there would have been intense fighting. And you've got houses over there, so the villagers, I'm sure they would have experienced traumatic times.
The American occupation of Afghanistan was devastating on so many levels. The most simplest illustration would be if you visit Sangin district of Helmand province. The entire district center has been leveled. They leveled the entire place, civilian infrastructure, the bazaar and everything, and boasted that they left the Afghans nothing but dust and rubble. So that was the true nature of the American occupation.
It was a more than $2 trillion pursuit that ultimately left in failure.
How on earth did the Afghan people get that up there?
One of the great wonders of this world, my brother. I mean, we all love cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knew Hummers look cool.
Yeah.
It's just a shame that the people of Afghanistan had to see it in such a negative and scary sight, right?
I think it's also a symbol for the Afghan people to be rest assured that there will be no more American occupation on their lands. Especially when you think of the amount of torment, the amount of devastation, the amount of war crimes that were committed by those NATO member states that are still being investigated to this day. My country included, Australia.
39 Afghans were unlawfully killed, possibly the most disgraceful episode in Australia's military history.
It's a symbol that the occupation is finally over.
It was the symbol of a new chapter, and yet even amidst the tense scenes we were capturing, we were quickly reminded of their warmth.
over hundreds of millions of dollars.
You want to come with me? Say, come with me.
We're being invited to tea in the middle of a shoot, but I honestly can't express how often this happens. Every time we're spotted out in public, we just get invited to tea. But subhanAllah.
The customary Afghan invitation to tea that followed us everywhere we went, even to this place, the village Apple store.
Bismillah.
And by the way, Afghanistan has some of the tastiest apples in the world. I asked the elder in the gathering how he managed to survive so many decades in Afghanistan. This was his answer.
دوره راته توره څنګه یاست زمونږ څنګه یاست ورونو دا ته به خره کوي بمباریګانی به موږ شو تیاری پیاده ورځان خدای ته تسلیم کړو موږ ولې شهیدان شو درجه ولو خو اخر مرو اخر مرو سر کال ژوندې ما اخر مري موږ چې جنت خدای راکړي هغه دنیا خدای راکړي دا کارو امریکا په شواخ شوروان شواخ ورته بل حساب پاک حالات مکه
He carried a sense of acceptance and contentment with the past, but also a hopeful outlook for the future.
ارمان صاحب چې دغه قراری او آرامي یکی او خپل منځ او درس کوو او خپل مسلمانۍ خپل اسلام خپل تجارت اصل خپل یادخانی کوي څوک تجارت کوي څوک یې شي کوي څوک بل شي کوي دا آرامي غلط پاتې نه غلط کو.
This humble Apple store felt like a meeting point between two generations, young and old. A place that carried lessons I could only pray would soon be handed over from the elders down to the children as they begin shaping the country's future.
So there's a group of kids right behind me walking to school in the village of the martyrs, subhanAllah.
Oh, these guys going to school. That's a self game. That's not a good guy. That's the fourth day. They don't need the ball. They just need the cricket. Right? That's the main thing in life. You need the cricket. Balls will come, brother. Inshallah. كم مزمون دير خان دير كبير. يا رب تعالوا مختلفكم.
يازي.
يازي خا يازي شيء. بختو خا يعني يناي كلي كناي.
ويلي.
ويلي.
قرآن كريم.
قرآن كريم ما شاء الله. اللهم بارك.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
They all know the Quran. Wherever you go, they know the Quran.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد والضحى والليل.
Afghanistan's children were undoubtedly inheriting a nation on the back foot. But I'm sure these kids were more than capable of carrying the country forward. On our way back to Kabul, I found myself returning with an incredible sense of optimism. And no, this is not me trying to romanticize the country. Afghanistan is not perfect by any means. There's deep poverty, broken infrastructure.
The ward is full of lost-looking eyes.
Electricity shortages, education gaps, all of which, of course, cannot be separated from the decades of occupation that came before. But as I stood there, watching the children fly kites into the Kabul sky, I realized something. These were a people who were for the most part carefree and indifferent to how the world saw them. They were strong, not because they were defending who they were, but because they were surviving, enduring, and continuing to be their authentic selves.
What would you say would be the best response to this onslaught, this media onslaught? What would be the best response?
I think the best response is that we continue to ignore them. It makes them furious. They spend resources, money, time on trying to distort an image of a country, but the people themselves who are actually on the ground create the reality. And those who then visit Afghanistan see the reality and accept that this country is not as it's being portrayed.
I had only been in the country for a few days, with many days ahead, but I had already witnessed extraordinary hospitality, underlying strength, and a deep yearning for peace.
الحمدلله افغانستان اسلامي مرة ډیر امن یو په امن هیواد دی اسلامي نظام دی الحمدلله په افغانستان کې کوم داسې نوع مشکلات هیڅ نشته دي چې کوم څوک دی یا ضرر ورته ورسي یا مثلا نور کوم داسې هغه رامنځته شي هیڅ کوم مشکل نشته الحمدلله د افغانستان ولس کوم ملت چې دی عوام مخلوق خلق دي ولس چې دي.
It was a window of peace that will help provide the platform for the next generation to build a beautiful country for the world to see.
دیگه بچه ها در خارج که هستن یک پیغام دارن
Come to Afghanistan.
It was an invitation that I had accepted to hear their story, experience it firsthand, and tell a part of it to the world. And for me, that was an incredible honor.
So there was a lot of thought that went into choosing this country. Yeah. And wallahi, I say it from the bottom of my heart, there isn't any other country I would have chosen apart from Afghanistan. A country that has been demonized, vilified. They've painted these people as the absolute worst of the worst. So when we get to come here and see what they're truly like on face value, in the light that they truly are, and honestly, it's a positive light, it's a beautiful light, it's a light of warmth, hospitality, and a welcoming nature, which is not only true to the Afghan people, but it's true to the prophetic spirit of Islam. And there's still many days left for me along this journey, and I can't wait to see what will unfold, but I'm sure if it's anything like what I've already witnessed, it's only going to be more beautiful and more warm, inshallah.